Bryce Underwood, the five-star best recruit in the nation, flips from LSU to Michigan after a rumored $10 million NIL deal over 4 years. This is Josh Pate. Josh Pate's reactions. We're going to react to his reaction, reactionception, if you will, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in, kick your feet up, and let's do what only I can do.
Went off earlier today in the college football world of recruiting. I don't even care if you follow recruiting. This is a big one. This impacts everyone.
Yes, and we're going to talk about this really from, first of all, nice forearms, Josh. I mean, as a guy, as someone who appreciates grip training, forearm training, I can appreciate good forearms. Good stuff there, Josh. I'm going to talk about this from the recruiting landscape. I'm going to talk about this from the overall NIL, college sports, what this means long term. Less about like what it means for Michigan, what it means for LSU even, and more just, hey, this is what it is now. This is it, and what I think that means for the rest of college football.
This was Bryce Underwood, number one player, as far as I'm concerned, number one quarterback, number one player, the most important recruit in this upcoming cycle. Been committed to LSU since January. He decommitted. He is committed to Michigan. I cannot overstate enough how big a deal this is.
Oh, yeah.
Bryce Underwood is as big a mortal lock to be a star at the next level as we've seen in quite a while. I'm not going to use the G word, generational. I'm not going to use that word, but he is.
It's amazing how there's generational players like every year. I'm starting to think they're not actually generational. It seems like you shouldn't have a generational player or generational prospect every 3-4 years.
A total man amongst boys in high school. Been committed to LSU. Everything was contingent on this. You've heard me talk about Brian Kelly, and you've heard me talk about.
Yeah, so I mean, I live in New Orleans. I'm more of a Tulane. I'm a Tulane guy, not an LSU guy, but roll wave. But I obviously tuned into LSU and have a lot of friends who are huge LSU fans and huge LSU backers. And the rumor was that because Kelly's recruiting class was so good, which is very contingent on Bryce Underwood, that Kelly basically was at least safe to see out that first year of that recruiting class. As those recruits start to leave, you assume Kelly's seat certainly gets a whole lot hotter.
Anybody who's having a problem with him down there, they say in the very next sentence, but we'll wait and see what he does once Underwood gets here. That's gone.
Yeah.
That's gone. That doesn't mean it's over for Brian Kelly, but as far as it relates to his future being tied to Bryce Underwood being his quarterback, that's gone. And I don't know where they go. This is one I cannot sugarcoat for you. They got some really smart people in that building, running recruiting, running NIL. They know what they're doing, but there is nobody, I don't care how seasoned you are, I don't care how sharp you are, that when they get caught across the jaw with this, doesn't fall down. They may not.
All right, here's the deal. So here's what I want to talk about. So this, I know, and this is a very touchy subject because people love college sports, people love college football, and they believe in it for what they think it is, okay? It's kind of similar to wrestling fans. Wrestling fans don't want, they know, but they don't want it across their face. They don't want it out in the open that it's not real, right? College football or college sport fans don't want to hear that it's not all about the game. They don't want to hear that it's not pure. They don't want to hear that it's just amateurs, playing their hardest for their school, for the love of the alma mater, because they're walking around on campus and they're from the region and they care about the rivalry games and they care about all the different trophies that the rivalry games have, and winning an axe or a jug or a boot or a shillelagh or whatever the trophy is for the rivalry game. They care about the bowl games. They care about the school, because here it is, ladies and gentlemen, they do not. In today's day and age, they don't. In today's day and age, it's not about Death Valley. It's not about your legacy. It's not about, oh, we put 20 quarterbacks in the NFL. It's not about, oh, we have Heisman winners. It's not about, look at the statues of this player and this player and this player. It's not about walk on these hallowed halls, right? Walk through the Grove in Oxford. Or it's not about that. It's not even about, oh, our head coach is blank. He's the most, tenured, storied, whatever head coach in the region. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about the same thing it's about in the NFL, in the NBA, in the MLB. It's about how much money can you give me? What can you give me? These are 17-year-old, 18-year-old kids who at this point are wide out in the open being told, listen, we'll give you $10 million, $12 million, however much million dollars over the course of this many years. I don't care if you were born inside of Death Valley during halftime. I'm going wherever. I'll go play in Lithuania for $15 million over the course of 4 years at 17 years old. They are making better than NFL contracts. You can't beat that. And unfortunately, what that does for college is the same thing that I said it was going to do for college when NIL first really got out of control. Was it's just the boosters. It's just who can pay, who wants to pay for a chance to success. Because, of course, it doesn't mean that you are guaranteed to succeed in getting the top prospects. We've seen top prospects fail all the time. But what it does guarantee is that schools that aren't funded well do not have a chance. It is a 30-ish team league is what it is. College football is or will be 30-ish teams. That's it. And you won't have, the Southern Misses of the world being able to compete at a truly high level because of stuff like this. $10 million, let's just say it's $10 million, okay? All of a sudden now, it's not who's got the best facilities. It's not who's got the best fight song. It's not who's got the best atmosphere. It's not who's got the best this, the best city, the best dorms, the best, whatever. It's which booster is the richest and which booster is the most involved. That is what college football has now become.
I'll be knocked out, but LSU's down tonight. And this is happening against the backdrop of a season that's kind of gone off the rails late a little bit. And the season going off the rails was one thing. I'm telling you guys, if you don't follow this granularly, an LSU fan down in Bossier City or Thibodaux or wherever, they're not happy about the season going the way it has gone. But everybody has put their stock in the yeah but. And the yeah but has been, yeah, we're not going to the playoff this year, but we got Bryce Underwood coming in. And now you don't. And it's going to be an uncomfortable December if they can't fill that void, and I don't know how they do it. But I will say this. If Bryce Underwood is not going to be part of your class, there is a healthy reallocation of NIL funds that they will be able to take advantage of. And so they are going to swing. They may go down swinging, but they're going to swing. But, man, Michigan football, the future of that program just changed. I mean, Sherrone Moore's future just changed. I don't know how much clearer it can be for you guys. Your future's kind of always been tied to your quarterback, but now more than ever. Your future's tied to your quarterback. You got to go get one. It doesn't matter what your scheme looks like. It doesn't matter what your core principles and tenets are. You can.
But, I mean, here's the deal. Like, at the end of the day, LSU didn't have the funding, didn't have the backing, whatever, to match this or to compete with this. And you look at it, LSU is as storied of a college over the last 10 years, over the last decade, which you might say, well, what about in the 70s? What about in the 80s? You think Bryce Underwood cares about the 70s and the 80s? I'm talking about since these recruits have really been watching the game, okay? Over the last 10 years, LSU is as storied, as prolific, as marketable, whatever you want to say, of a program as there is in college football. But the reality is they don't have Stephen Ross. That's the reality of it. Now, does Stephen Ross exclusively pay for this? I don't know. Okay, I have no idea. I do know that Stephen Ross has given nearly $500 million to the University of Michigan in his life. Think about that. One guy gave $500 million to the university. That is bananas. Bananas. Okay. So that's the problem. Now, are there big boy billionaire boosters who support LSU or support whatever other college that support the Kentuckys of the world and the Vanderbilts of the world? Sure, I'm sure there are. But they have to open up the checkbooks and compete with this. And any school with a huge booster, a la Oregon, this is how they're going to play. Where every year they're going to facilitate, and it's not just football. This will be basketball. This will be whatever the boosters want to do. This is the landscape right here.
You can have all that stuff in line and lose if the other guy's got the better quarterback than you. Well, now you got him. You got him, and now Michigan, for the first time in forever, can sell to prospective wide receivers.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be a huge, huge domino effect. You get the number one guy, a household name in the college football world, yeah, a ton of other recruits are going to go there.
You can come here and have the best in the country throw to you and distribute the ball to you. That's always been a lie if a Michigan coach told you that before. And now they're being dead serious in their ability to say it. This is the 11th hour that this is hitting LSU in. It sucks. I don't know how else to put it, man. It is not a death blow, but it is a crippling blow for LSU, and it is potentially the beginning of something very special for Michigan.
Yeah, it's tough. Tough, man. I mean, college football. It's college sports now, and that's the landscape we live in, where legacy doesn't matter. None of that matters. Recent success, coaches, whatever. Homecoming, fight songs, pageantry, mascots, none of that matters. What matters is if you can pay. If you can pay to compete, that's it. And I'll tell you this, we have not seen the worst of NIL. The worst of NIL is when we see the next Johnny Manziel, when we see someone who comes in, plays as a freshman or a sophomore, dominates the landscape, wins the Heisman, best player in the country, superstar, social media, monster, absolutely as popular as it gets. That's when we're going to see the worst of it, because that's when we're going to see, like Bryce Underwood, he's a complete unknown. Okay, complete unknown. But if you get somebody who comes in their freshman year, sophomore year, and they dominate, win the Heisman, do everything I just said, and they also are a celebrity, like Johnny Manziel, like Matt Leinart, like Reggie Bush, like Tim Tebow, all of a sudden now, it's not really a guess. And you're not paying for an opportunity at success. You can quite literally pay for success. When will we see that? When will we see the bidding war for the best player in the country? When will we see a bidding war for a Heisman winner? Because if this is $10 million for a lottery ticket, I can't even imagine what a Tim Tebow or a Johnny Manziel would fetch. I mean, you're talking. I mean, Texas A&M built a stadium off of Johnny Manziel's back. Imagine not only the success on the football field, but imagine what it would do to the entire program for a school to buy out a Heisman winner. I mean, a school like USC, who's been struggling, mired, and basically just mediocrity over the last more than a decade. Imagine what they would pay if they had a chance at a Johnny Manziel, a Tim Tebow, to get them back to national championships, to get them back to the Heisman conversation. Be a whole lot of money, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting stuff, though. I mean, NIL is a nasty, nasty thing. No salary cap, no regulation, absolutely no idea where the money's coming from, how much is coming in, when it's being paid, what it's tied to bonuses, is it up front, is it after? I mean, just an unreal wild, wild west of college football. They got to do something at some point, or, just rip the Band-Aid off and make it a 40-team Super League, and let's quit the charades. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this, what you think about Underwood, whether you're an LSU fan or a Michigan fan or a fan of college football, or what do you think about NIL? Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.